So today I'll quickly create one program, upload program, to upload the Excel file data into internal table. Please keep this server active. Looks like someone is trying to log in. So whoever just logged in, I'm using that account. Please don't log in. So let me create a upload program to upload the data from Excel file to internal table. So why we use these upload programs? I'll just give you a quick recap. To create or to migrate any data from non-SAP to SAP systems. So how we migrate data from non-SAP systems? They use separate database and separate application server and everything. That's a completely different system, right? So to do the data migration into SAP ERP, that can be ECC or S4HANA. In recent days, everyone is using S4HANA, right? If it is non-SAP system, what we do usually prepare one file with data, right, and upload that file into SAP. So this is file. If it is SAP ECC to S4HANA conversion, they use a tool called which one? What is the tool they use to migrate the SAP ECC into SAP S4HANA? In the last session we have discussed. What is the tool? SUM. Software Update Manager, SAP SUM. They use this tool to convert SAP ECC data into SAP S4HANA. You don't need to use any file or upload programs. It will directly convert at the time of project implementation. The system admins will take care of it. Okay, you don't need to create any upload programs. But in case of non-SAP system, we collect the data into a file. That might be a notepad file or Excel file and upload the data into SAP. So can we directly upload? First, we prepare the file with data, and file will be uploaded to, first we need to upload file into internal table. From that internal table we can process the data. We can use what are the techniques available to migrate the data from non-SAP to SAP? Yeah, BDC or BAPI or direct insert statements into tables. Depends on the scenario. We use this to create the data into SAP, to create or update. Okay. And we keep this part in a single program. We call that program as conversion program or migration program. So where we create this program? Where we create this conversion program or migration program? It's nothing but SE38 program. Whatever the programs we create in SE38. So if we upload a file into internal table and process the data and insert the data into SAP, We call such kind of programs as conversion programs or migration programs. Okay, conversion programs or migration programs. Okay, is everyone clear? If you display the data in the ALV, selecting from multiple tables and display the data in ALV, we call such programs as report programs. Depends on the functionality, the name of the SC38 program will be different. Okay, is everyone clear?
Yes.
Now let's create one simple program. Before creating any program, or maybe since we are working on conversion programs, first what is the analysis you have to do? Step 1. What is the first step in creating the conversion programs or upload programs? What you need to think? What is the file format? Excel or CSV or text file? Text file nothing but notepad file. Notepad file with some commas, comma separated data, or any other separator can be used. This is your first question. You have to ask your functional consultant or whoever responsible to provide the requirements. First you need to get that file, upload file layout, or you have to recommend the upload file layout. Okay, you need to recommend, hey, use Excel file, prepare the data into Excel file so that I'll create a program to upload the Excel file into SAP. Or if they have provided the file, you need to think about the program design. Okay, once you got clarity on the file, what are the columns in the file? Okay, so what are the columns available in the file? In which order? What is the type of each column? Right, what is the type of each column? For example, if you take any employee data, employee ID is character type, joining date is date type, salary is packed decimal, right? By using this file format or columns, you need to prepare your upload structure. What is the use of this? To prepare the structure for the file upload. We create a type structure or data dictionary structure. Depends on the file columns in the same order with the same data type. And then what is the next step you have to think? You got the file, you understood the columns and their corresponding data types. Then what is the next step? Create the program with input parameter to pass the file path, right? File path. Then call the upload function module. Depends on the file type. If it is a text file, we use separate function module. If it is Excel file, we use separate function module, right? Call the relevant function module and pass the upload structure internal table. Return the data to upload internal table. Okay. Is everyone clear? And then next step, once the data is in internal table, validate the internal table data, because we should not accept any data in the file, right? We should not accept invalid data. We should not create that data into SAP, right? So that we need to validate the data which we collected into internal table from the file and create or update the data to SAP tables. Here we can use BAPI, BDC, or direct database statements, right? Clear?
Sir.
And then after creating the data into SAP, let's say you are uploading 1000 records. You maintained 1000 records in the file and uploaded the data into SAP. We are validating the data, right? We keep the file, whatever the records we keep in the file, not all records might be valid. There might be some invalid records too, right? We have to stop those records. We should not create data into SAP and we should return the status. What is the record that is successfully processed and created in SAP? What is the record that is not processed due to some issue, due to the data issue? What is the record that is failed to insert into SAP? You have to return the status of the records. Which record is successfully processed, which record is failed when you are trying to insert into SAP or when you are validating the internal table data. You have to return with proper error message, success message and error message. Okay? Is everyone clear? How do you return the status? Using ALV report. Display the status of program execution in a ALV report. For this you have to create one separate structure, right? And return the proper status. This is the program, how you need to design. Okay, start from the step 1 and complete each task. Don't think about a whole program at once. Okay, you need to start from file and analyzing the file and start from the each step. Then you can easily create the program. Okay, now let me create a program, or let me first design one file. Let me check any table. Okay, looks like we don't have proper data here. Let me first upload the data. Okay, for that let me prepare the file. Employee ID, name, DOB, city, phone. When you are uploading the files, mostly we have issues with date formats, right? Mostly we have issues with the date format. So here we need to use external date format or internal date format. What is SAP's internal date format?
Year, month, date.
Year, month, and date.
This is SAP's internal date format. So which value we need to use here, internal format or external format? Here you need to use external format only.
External format.
Right? Again, this separator and month, for example, if you take US, they use month,
Month, date, year.
date and year in this format. Their external format, their output format is this month, date and year. But we use in Europe and we use date, month and year. But how do you know that which format we need to maintain? It depends on your user settings. Go to SU01. SU01. What is your username? Best, right? Display. Here you can see user parameters. Here you can reset your password. In SU01, you can reset your password. If you go to change mode, you can reset your password. But don't do that. It will lock for everyone. Don't set your own password. Keep the current password, okay? If you change the password, then others cannot log in because it's using common user ID for everyone. Here go to defaults. In defaults, you can observe what is the login language? EN, default language. Decimal notation. Here, how you want to display the decimal values, right? What are the decimal places you want to display by default? Here it is displaying by default 2 decimal places with comma separator for the lakhs, thousands and hundreds. Like that you have different options. You can use dot in between value and comma for decimal places. That is also you can use, or you can use space. That setting you have to configure here. How you want to display the value, how you want to show the value, in which format. And about the date, what is the user date format for this best user ID? Date, month and year with the dot separator, not slash, right? With the dot separator. You have different date formats. Depends on your user date format, you have to prepare your file. Since it is using dot as external date format, what you have to use here? Dot.
Dot.
right? It depends on the user who is uploading the file, right? You are uploading the file and check your user parameters. If it is maintained in different date format like this, month, year and date, sorry, month, date and year, you have to change the format in the file. Okay, clear? Or in some cases we get date like this from the external databases, third party databases like Oracle, we get the date like this. Is it proper SAP date format? Looks like it is automatically convert. Let me change this to text. We'll get value from the external date format like this. Is it going to accept when we try to upload it? It cannot take because it's completely a different format, right? So in this case, when you are defining the structure, what you need to do? Take DOB as a character type. Don't take it as date. Okay? Take it as character type and upload the file. Once you upload the file into internal table, then convert this data into date. So we use small string functions to convert this into our own format. Okay. For now, let's take date format as it is. (06.05.2024). Okay. Save the file. I'll keep the file in this folder, employee data, save the file. Now you have the file. Now create the program. Employee data upload. Selection screen, begin of block B1 with frame define a parameter. What is the use of this parameter? To provide the file path. What is the type of the file path? We can take either string type or character type. Let's say char 200 or char 300, depends on the length of the file path. Okay. And what is the next step? We have created a parameter to provide the file path, local file path, folder path, to select the file from the local system. Then initialization, at selection screen, start of selection, end of selection. And what is the first step here? We created the parameter to upload the file. And what is the next step? We have a file and we need a upload structure. We need a upload structure. So what is the type of that upload structure? I'll create a local type structure. Types begin of ty underscore file. What are the fields in the file? Employee ID, take some name, EMP type. What is the type? Do you have a data element for employee ID?
Character type.
Sorry? Character type. Do we have a data element available in the system? If it is available, use the data element. Go to any table, employee master table or any employee data table, use the data element here. Is this active? Yeah, this is active. Use this data element here. What is the next field in the file? Name, right? Name. Field name can be anything. Take some meaningful name here. And data type, the corresponding data type. Data type nothing but data element. Whatever the data element you have created for employee name, use that. If you don't have any data element, use some generic data element. Char 40. Okay. What is the next? DOB, right? Sorry, DOJ. Date of join. Type. What is the type we have to use? Date type. Any date type. If you have any data element, use that. Otherwise, use
Type D.
type D. Then what is the next field? City and phone. What is the type for city? I think we are already having a standard data element for city, right? You don't need to use any custom ones. What is the standard data element for city? ORT01. Let me check in KNA1 table. City should be available here. ORT01 underscore GP. That is the data element for city. Okay. For phone number,
num6.
I'll use some num10. Or you can also define like this: 10 type n. You can also define like this if you don't have any data element available. Okay. File. Now define an internal table for the file upload. One work area as well. Okay. Then what is the next step? You need to validate the file path, because without a file path you cannot upload any data, right? So you need to make sure there is at least the user provided the file path or not. If is initial, then what you need to do? If it is empty, file path parameter is empty, what you need to do? Error message. Okay, you need to enter the, you need to display the error message if there is no file path provided. Then what is the next step after validation? Call the function module to upload the file. What is the function module for Excel file upload? I don't remember. I am using these keywords to search. I think XLS, right? Not Excel. This one, right? Text convert XLS to SAP. Excel format in SAP date format. Double click this. If you can observe here, you have different function modules available from CSV, comma separated file to SAP, text file to SAP, XML to SAP, right? We are converting Excel file to SAP. Select Excel file. What are the mandatory parameters here in this function module? Double click, go to importing. What are the mandatory parameters? These two, because optional checkbox is not selected for this one and this one. So you have to define and pass these two importing parameters. One is file name nothing but file path. The other one is this one, raw data type. That what is this? Is it a table type or structure? By looking at this name, it's a table type. We are using T. Double click on this. It's a table type, right? Define. If you are using table type, that means that's the internal table like data, right? So pass this empty internal table for this raw, and here pass the file path. Make sure whatever the type you are using here, the data type should match with this one. We are taking character 200, right? What is the data type of this? They are using a data element for file name. What is the type of this? Check that. Type local file. And what is the data type and length? Char 128, not 200, right? So you need to make sure you are taking same data type and length. Otherwise, I'll copy this data element and change the importing parameter to this data element. Instead of this, I'll use this. Okay. I'm using p underscore file and returning the data into what? Converter tab, tables. You have to provide the file internal table, whatever the internal table you created with reference to the type structure. Okay, that's it. I'll just display this in CLDemo output for now. But what actually we need to do? We need to loop the internal table, validate the data and display the, sorry, not display the output, create the data into SAP. But for now, I am just displaying internal table data as output, right? The program is completed. From here, the next functionality after upload, you have to implement this functionality. From here till here, we completed. Okay. So from internal table, you need to upload it into, or you need to process BDC or BAPI functionality. Okay. Okay. So we uploaded till here. We uploaded the data into internal table, right? The file internal table. This file internal table type should be same as a file structure. Whatever the fields you have in the file, same in the same order, same data type and the same order, right? And tell me one thing, do we maintain any header in the file? We have a header, right? File header to identify the columns and their properties. Do we need to upload this data as well?
No.
No, right? We should not upload that data. We should upload only the actual values, so that I line header. What is the data type of this? Char 1. Line header is there. So, enable this, since it is optional, ABAP underscore true. That means X value. Okay, so that it will skip the first record, and enable the exceptions. Activate the program. Now let's try to, I'll keep a breakpoint here, execute the program, or we need to maintain the text elements for parameter, file path, and activate the file path. Actually we need to add one upload F4 help, right? Is everyone completed that in the previous sessions? Adding F4 help. Here we don't have option to select the file, right? We don't have any F4 help to browse the folders, right? We need to manually enter the path like this. Go to the, we need to manually provide the file path like this. Copy this, provide like this, but this is difficult, right? So we need to add one F4 help. For that, what is the functionality available?
F4 file.
What is the event we use for that?
Add selection.
At selection screen,
On value request.
on value request event we use for F4 help, for dynamic search helps. What is the event we use? At selection screen, on value request for which one? This parameter.
Yes. File.
And then what is the function module we use to add the dynamic search help? F4 file name, I think, right? So in place of file name, enable the exporting, and in place of file name, pass path or parameter, whatever the parameter you defined, and return value into same. Okay. Make sure the type of this parameter and the type of this importing parameter is same. Go to importing, field name. What is the type of this? Double click. Field name is character 132. And what about the exporting parameter? File name. This is local file, type local file, char 128. Then these two are matching. I don't think we need to pass this exporting. Let me comment first. This is not needed, I believe. Let me test it first. Okay. I'm just passing it to file path. Activate, execute, test this. Yeah, F4 help is added, right? Click on this. It will open the folders, local folders. It's opened the local folders. Go to required folder, double click, select the file. So it will automatically populate that. Okay. This is how we can add dynamic search help using, what is the event we use? At selection screen, on value request. If you want to add any search help, F4 help for the input parameters, this is the event we need to use at selection screen, on value request. And whenever you get a interview question on at selection screen event, you have to explain these as well. At selection screen on and at selection screen on value request. Okay. So, what is the difference between normal at selection screen and at selection screen on? What is the difference? If you use at selection screen, it will keep all the parameters active for the inputs when there is a error. But if you use at selection screen on parameter name, it will keep only that parameter active when there is some error. Okay? Is everyone clear on this? Or let me show you a simple example how this work. I'll create one more parameter. File 1. And I am commenting this for now. I am using at selection screen event for the validations, not at selection screen on. I am validating both parameters p underscore file and p underscore file 1 in the same event, at selection screen event. How this will work? Activate. Here I have two input parameters, right? I'll enter value in only one parameter, but both are mandatory. I am validating both parameters and raising the error message, right? Yes or no? Are we validating both parameters or only one parameter?
One parameter.
We are validating both parameters, file and file 1. Both parameters we are validating and displaying the error message, right? In the same event, at selection screen event. Now, how this will work? If we use both parameters in the same event, at selection screen event, execute one, I left one parameter blank, execute. There is a error, but both are available for input, right? So, there is no error in this parameter, right? File path, first one is, there is no issue, right? The issue is in the second parameter because we did not enter any value here. We are raising a error. Yes or no?
Yes.
But it is enabled parameters for input for both parameters. So, user will confuse if there are multiple parameters, right? So, what is the issue? In which parameter he got the error, right? If we keep it like this, or let me change it to at selection screen on event, at selection screen on p underscore file, this is one, and I'll use at selection screen on for other parameter as well. This one is p underscore file 1, right? Now see how this will work. Execute. I'll enter value in first parameter and I'll leave the second parameter blank. Now execute. Now if you observe, whatever the parameter with correct value or no issues, that is disabled for input, and whatever the parameter that got error is enabled for input, right? Now only that parameter is highlighted, right? Whatever the parameter that is causing the issue, only that parameter is highlighted now, like enabled now. Rest of the parameters are disabled, so that user can easily understand where is the issue, in which parameter he got the issue, right? Is everyone clear on this? It's a very important interview question. Difference between at selection screen and at selection screen on. This is the difference. Is everyone clear? I'll delete this. When you are uploading the Excel files, please make sure you close the file. Okay, don't keep it open. It may not upload. Okay, select the file using F4 help, execute. Now if you press F5, it will take you into the standard function module. Don't press F5, go for F6. It will complete the function in single step. Allow to upload. Sub RC is 0, that means no exceptions, right? No exceptions are raised. Check the file, internal table, 11 records are uploaded, double click. Yeah, all 11 records are uploaded in proper format. Observe the date format, is it in expected format or not? Is it in expected
Yes, sir.
format or not?
Yes.
Yes, it is in expected format. It is in SAP's internal date format, right? It is automatically converted into internal date format. In file, we maintain the external date format. Okay. If you maintain the different format, like using some hyphens or any other date format, if you maintain in the file, then we need to do some string operations to convert that into SAP's internal date format, right? Now in this case, since we maintain the expected output format, so system will automatically convert it. Okay, clear? Now I have collected data, file data into internal table. Depends on my requirement, I will use this file data. I will display it in a ALV report. Usually that is not necessary, right? So we usually we insert the data into SAP or update the data into SAP. Here in place of CLDemo output, we use BDC process or BAPI or direct database updates to create the data into SAP, right? After that, we collect the records with success or error status and display the output using ALV reports. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
So in the next session, we'll see how to call BDC or BAPI to process the data. Okay, we'll take any standard transaction code data example. We'll create one BDC program and we'll replace that BDC program with BAPI, so that you can understand the difference, how we use BDC and how we use BAPI. But what is the recommended approach for data conversions? BDC or BAPI? BAPI is recommended because of its performance and flexibility. Okay, first you need to check for BAPI. If BAPI is not available, then only we go for BDC process. Okay,
BDC.